WNBA free agency has been a whirlwind, but it seems to be giving us a day to calm down. Most of the big free agents have found homes, but there is one question that I just cannot get out of my head, and that is, what the heck is going on with Chennedy Carter?
Chennedy Carter recently killed himself on national television.
Get myself together. I know that I'm a vital piece of this team, and I know that I need to be in shape. I need to be ready to go. I need to be mentally ready, physically ready. So all of those things were coming into play while I was sick, while I was out. There were still things that I was doing, basketball-oriented, so that when I come back, you guys are like, oh, it's kind of like she didn't miss a beat. Yeah, because you still have to work when you're asleep and you're sick and things like that. So, yeah.
One push, one careless action, and her WNBA career was in ruins.
And Clark. I mean, that's clear, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
In a split second, she transformed from being a star with promise to a pariah no team wants to touch. But here's where things get really wild. It's not just about that push on Caitlin Clark.
Which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
This is only the most recent development in a lengthy history of turmoil, poor choices, and team implosions.
And Clark.
Before we explore the full extent of this disaster, no team will even answer the phone when her agent calls since she is now radioactive. You won't believe how Carter ruined her own career, so please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned.
A locked-in face.
Locked-in face.
Clark, a deep three. You bet!
Caitlin Clark has spoken like someone who's voted.
Or whose kids have.
Mitchell on another three.
The league was rocked by a sight so unvarnished and unadulterated that it resembled something from a sports drum.
Defensive board or a turnover and push pace the other way. First in the league in fast break points.
Clark connects on a deep three.
Tensions increased with each possession as the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever engaged in a fierce struggle.
Down by 9 in the fourth, and on the shoulders of Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, Indiana comes storming back for a 4-point win in overtime. The Fever have had a lot of signature wins this year, a lot of victories over big opponents. But in terms of facing adversity, not many like they overcame here tonight.
In real time, Kane Clark was putting on a show, executing buckets with ease, masterfully directing the attack, and making the defenders appear powerless.
Mabry hits her with a pump fake, and coming down hard is Chennedy Carter. That looks like it hurt.
Everyone in the building was staring at her since she was the player's attraction and spark.
Left to play in this one. Indiana, at least in the fourth quarter, an 8-3 rebounding advantage. Clark pulls, fires, hits, 4-3.
Then came the Chelsea card. She wasn't merely playing defense. She was hunting, and it was clear that she was frustrated by her moves.
Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench. And Clark. I mean, that's clearly which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
Carter's body language, which included clenched teeth, piercing looks, and heavy breathing, showed that tension between them was building like a ticking time bomb every time Clark made a play.
Big win over the Fever in front of an amazing home crowd. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. It feels good. I think Skytown really showed up and showed out for us tonight. And it's just great to have fun like that and have a game with that type of atmosphere and get a good win, good team win.
You dropped 23 points on 80 from 12. What was your mindset going into this game?
I think the coaching staff and my teammates do a good job of just instilling confidence in me, letting me know like I'm a bucket. And when I get to my spot, there's no one that can stop me. So it's just my confidence in my teammates feeding me the ball, things like that.
And then you guys were down by 15 at one point and came all the way back to win by 1. What do you like about what your team's displaying?
I think tonight we just showed heart. We showed fight, and we showed no give up until the buzzer was off. And I think when we play like that, we're a hard team to beat for sure.
And suddenly, bam, for a brief moment, the entire arena fell silent, as if someone had hit the mute button on reality TV. Players froze, fans gasped, referees hesitated as they processed what had just transpired, and Carter gave Clark a full force shove to the side, sending her reeling off balance. It wasn't a typical foul, nor was it a hard contest, but rather pure calculated aggression. According to reports, one scout inside the building remarked, "I've never seen anything like it because this wasn't just physical. It was symbolic and sent a clear message."
This year. Carter will pull up.
Couple headers on the ESPN family of networks.
Yeah, that was going to be fun. A lot of
Turned a 6-point deficit into a 7-point advantage in this.
Not only did Carter insult Clark, but she also challenged, targeted, and possibly even tried to humble her. However, there was a serious issue. The WNBA had no place for that kind of behavior, and those who were taken aback by Carter's actions, let's face it, had not been paying attention. This wasn't a single instance of bad judgment or a last-minute error. For teams, for locker rooms, for exits, tension, drama, and controversy characterized this pattern, which was an expected flashpoint from a player who has left a trail of burned bridges in her path. It's not bad luck. Rather, it's a reputation issue. Coaches don't just give up on talented athletes unless there's something deeper going on, and that something has always been Carter's mentality. A player with Carter's talent should be enjoying success in the league, but she's been treated like a volatile stock that is too risky to invest in.
On the play before bumping in with Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit after the fever
I
score.
didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
Remember her early days with the Atlanta Dream? She didn't just have problems. She nearly got into a heated altercation with her own teammate Courtney Williams during a heated locker room altercation. The team suspended her indefinitely, and her WNBA career almost ended there. Fast forward to her time with the Los Angeles Sparks, another train wreck. She wasn't benched for performance, but rather for behavior, poor leadership, a refusal to be coached, and a propensity to argue with teammates. So, when Carter shoved Clark, it wasn't just a dirty play. It was the last straw that finally put an end to her career, music. In sports, players make mistakes and become enmeshed in the intensity of competition. But what distinguishes those who advance from those who lose their responsibility is precisely where Carter failed once more. She had two options after the incident: own it or deflect. She decided on the latter rather than owning up to her mistakes. When reporters questioned her about the incident, she didn't apologize or provide an explanation. Instead, she smirked and silenced all inquiries about Clark.
This is what you get with Carter back in the lineup. The pace, pull-up 15-footer, she connects.
She spoke with a haughtiness that makes executives and coaches shake their heads, and I'm not responding to any of Clark's inquiries. Not only was it dismissive, but it was also evidence that she didn't care and wasn't learning, and in a league that rewards talent equally, that kind of behavior kills careers.
Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
Because this is the reality. Carter has demonstrated for years that she lacks both professionalism and attitude, which are crucial in the WNBA. She had numerous opportunities to change the narrative and rebuild her image, but she consistently prioritized ego over development, which is why no team wants to take a chance on her anymore.
Carter against Horston. We're going to be watching that matchup all night long. Carter does a great job getting by Jordan there. Now on Agumake. Good bounce pass to Reese. Up and in.
Seattle jumping out. Quick start in the first quarter, and Chicago's dealing with a little foul trouble.
Carter between the wickets, driving in again. Baseline right around Horston and scores. And recently very, very effectively.
The WNBA wasn't going to let this go unpunished, so they quickly issued a blatant foul call and an official statement stating that the hit on Caitlin Clark was more than just an aggressive defense. The words they used were purposefully needless and careless, condemning Carter's actions directly and drawing a line in the sand.
Carter to the basket, and she's fouled hard by Nalissa Smith. And we'll see if Matt Leinart, Emmanuel Acho, Stephen A. Smiths Louis Riddicks of the world will be as vocal about that foul as any foul that was Caitlin Clark.
Number 3 on the list.
And the immediate repercussions were that front offices throughout the league took notice. Before that evening, scouts and executives in the arena had already seen enough, and some may have thought of Carter as a high-risk, high-reward player who was talented but unpredictable. Following that incident, she was viewed as a liability by the Chicago Sky had to decide whether to put more effort into letting Carter go, extend her contract, or at least try to trade her to a team that was willing to take a chance. Instead, they took a much more drastic step and severed all ties with Carter, holding no buyout talks or trade talks and making the decision to let her go in a quiet but clear manner.
See why I love my kids? See why I love them? God dang it. Freaking love you. Love you too.
Chennedy, to just kind of hear those words from Coach, what does that just mean to you to hear that level of praise and love from your head coach?
I think it really just brings out the best in me. I've been in situations where I haven't always been valued. Coaches haven't always had my back. She has my back on and off the floor. And that brings out the best side of me. That brings out me as a person. Everyone's getting to know me. I love my teammates. I love being here. It's something special. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of something like this. 2 years coming, I'm really thankful to be a part of something like this. I was literally crying in the car yesterday, like, God, I appreciate you so much for putting me where I belong.
In professional sports, there are instances when your reputation can be saved. Years of steady play can occasionally eclipse a moment of poor judgment. But in Carter's case, the NBA's decision wasn't about a single infraction. Rather, it was a reflection of a bigger issue. A player with a past who, in the opinion of numerous insiders, was already treading carefully and had crossed at this time. Carter anticipated an unpleasant awakening from her teammates, who would jump to her defense. No teammates pushed back against the narrative, no public expressions of support, just quiet distancing, and in some cases, outright rejection, followed by silence from the Chicago Sky locker room. Former teammates' whispers off the record statements began to reach reporters. They said things like, "She's hard to play with," "She doesn't listen to coaches," "She's all about herself." None of these statements were made during official press conferences, but the message was clear and loud. We're better off without her.
He surpassed 1,000 career points brought against the Sun. And that drive and layup balls for Chennedy Carter in the dream. No, absolutely with Chennedy Carter. Mabry, the foot fake, the fire. And 0 for 3 now for Marina Mabry from distance. Oh, pick in the pocket and the steal and lay.
And social media quickly removed any uncertainty regarding the current situation. Immediately following the incident, one of Carter's alleged closest teammates, Angel Ree, unfollowed her. In a game where player relationships are as visible online as they are on the court, an unfollow isn't just an afterthought. It's a declaration, a breakup in real time, and the last digital nail in the coffin of any camaraderie they once shared. For Carter, this wasn't just a loss on the court. It was also a loss of trust and her position within the team and in a league that values chemistry just as much as talent, which can mean the difference between an opportunity and a dead end.
So you might remember Chennedy Carter from such shenanigans as flagrantly fouling Caitlin Clark at the beginning of the season. This was not called a flagrant foul at the time, but it was obviously not a basketball play. Apparently it had something to do with one of the plays beforehand, but the words that came out of her mouth right before what happened kind of made this a little uncalled for. I mean, a little is understated.
The issue has never been talent. Carter is a lightning-quick guard with elite scoring ability, a player who on paper should be a major asset to any WNBA roster, but talent alone doesn't keep you in the league. Chemistry, professionalism, and reliability, those are the real currency. And right now, Carter is bankrupt in all three. The WNBA is in a pivotal era of growth. It's looking to elevate its stars, expand its audience, and set a standard for professionalism that rivals the NBA. What the league doesn't want players who create. Chaos players who become distractions instead of leaders, and Carter, right or wrong, has been branded as exactly that. The verdict from league executives has been brutal. One anonymous GM reportedly said, "I wouldn't touch her," with a 10-foot hole. That's not just hesitation, it's a career death sentence in a league with limited roster spots, where even good players struggle to find opportunities the moment a player gets labeled as too much trouble. Their career is essentially over, and Carter, she's been stamped with that label in bold, permanent ink.
As you got subbed out, Carl gave you a standing ovation. Just to know the type of impact that you've made here in Chicago, what does that mean to you?
For me, it means a lot. I haven't been at this place in this moment in my career, I don't think ever. So to feel that from not only our fans, but my teammates and my coaches, make me feel loved, make me feel valued, it's an amazing feeling, bro.
And then
Carter is now an unrestricted free agent with no offers on the table. Free agency is meant to be a time of opportunity for players to find new homes, negotiate better contracts, and step into new roles. But for Carter, it's radio silence. A few years ago, Carter was considered one of the game's most promising young guards, a player with the ability to alter a franchise's future. There is an empty market. No teams are contacting her, no agents are spreading rumors of possible deals, and she is beginning to realize that her WNBA career may already be finished. The terrible reality is that this isn't just about one incident. Teams have been wary of Carter for years. They've seen the warning signs, and the push on Clark was just the last straw. Right now, every team in the league is asking the same question: is she worth the risk? The answer seems to be a resounding no. The tensions in the locker room, the arguments with coaches, and the unwillingness to adapt to the WNBA are all minor, but when your reputation is damaged, it's nearly impossible to repair.
Get myself together. I know that I'm a vital piece of this team, and I know that I need to be in shape, I need to be ready to go, I need to be mentally ready, physically ready. So all of those things were coming into play while I was sick, while I was out. There were still things that I was doing, basketball-oriented, so that when I come back, you guys are like, oh, kind of like she didn't miss a beat. Yeah, because you still have to work when you're asleep and you're sick and things like that, so yeah.
What does Carter do now? If she wants to continue playing, her best choice would be abroad. Prior to joining the WNBA, she had a brief but successful spell in Turkey, and if she wants to save her career, she might need to go back there, though even that isn't a guarantee. The WNBA clubs are not exempt from the red flags that have been raised about Carter. If they don't want to take a chance on her, why would an international club? And there's the larger problem. European teams admire talent, but they also prefer stability. Reputation in professional sports perception is everything a player's image can make or break their career, and right now Carter's image is in shambles. If she wants to fix it, she's going to need a complete transformation, not just to her game, but in her attitude, her professionalism, and how she carries herself on and off the court. That entails public apologies, damn image management, and demonstrating that she is not merely a different player and person, but also if anyone actually thinks she will make that change given her past. At this point, Carter is at a crossroads. One route leads to redemption via perseverance and a second chance, while the other leads to a gradual decline. Carter had the ability and the potential, but she threw it all away with her negative attitude, poor choices, and bad behavior. She has the freedom to choose, but if she doesn't move quickly, it might be too late. Carter is learning the hard way that no team wants Chennedy Carter, and unless she changes, no team will ever want her. What do you think? Does Carter deserve another chance? Is her WNBA career officially over? Please leave a comment below and let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the biggest basketball scandals. The WNBA is growing and creating something special. There is no room for players who bring negativity into the mix.
Shorts.